Hey VC, King's Drummer here, and time for a vinyl video. It's been a while since I did a vinyl video, I think 2 weeks, because last weekend I went to a bunch of concerts in San Francisco, and that's where this shirt came from, Dream Theater. And I saw Dream Theater and Crimson Project this time last weekend, as well as Marillion, and both those shows were just fucking awesome, especially the Dream Theater show. Crimson Project just blew my mind. They were just a badass band, 2 drummers set up. You know, I got to see Tony Levin in person for the very first time. I've seen so much video footage of him with Peter Gabriel, Liquid Tension Project, and it was cool to see him in the flesh before my very eyes. Great show. Dream Theater was awesome as always. This is like my 5th or 6th time seeing them, but it was my first time seeing them with Mangini as a drummer, and also my first time seeing them without Mike Portnoy. So that was kind of strange. That was a little weird. Mangini's a great drummer, fantastic drummer. Just a different vibe and a different approach of playing than Portnoy has. I'm not saying one's better than the other or one's worse than the other. It's just different, but you know, it's still Dream Theater. Dream Theater is still Dream Theater, and it still kicked a lot of ass. It's just different seeing it without Portnoy. At one point, it didn't matter because Mangini was so good, and the music sounded so great, and the crowd was just feeding with so much energy. It didn't really matter who was playing the drums at one point because it was such a good show, and I was having such a great time. So anyway, that was last weekend. Now here we are doing some vinyl, and I'm going to start off with this album, Opeth Watershed. I don't run across much Opeth or any Opeth in my store I buy vinyl at. This is like the first time I ever saw anything from Opeth in the store. This is a used copy of Watershed, and I just immediately jumped on it because I saw Opeth open for Dream Theater a few years back, and they kicked some ass big time, and I had to get this. And a lot of the concert I went to was when they opened for Dream Theater. They did a lot of songs off of this album. I think this is the album they were promoting at the time. This is a 2-record set, limited edition, 180 gram vinyl. Right side up here. Come on. There we go. Cool album. I just got done listening to the whole thing, and it is a damn good album. I pretty much liked every track on here. Of course, I only gave it one listen. I got to listen to it more than once. Came with this poster right here, and the inside of this poster is just a group photo. Very cool. And it came with a CD too. Now, like I said, the store I buy vinyl at, they don't really stock much Opeth or any, like I said. So I thought, well, I better grab on it. I better jump on this fast because it will not be here the next time I come to the store, and I never see this band's stuff in the store. So I went to, and it was behind the counter. It wasn't on the shelves. I asked the guy how much it was, and he said they were going to sell it for $40. And I was like, man, doing no research on this album, I didn't know if that was a good price or a way too expensive price. I just went in and went for it. And here's the CD that came with the vinyl record for Watershed. You can't really, it's hard to see the writing on here because it's just black label with black lettering, but pretty cool to have a digital copy of the album. Anyway, so I didn't know if $40 was a good price or a bad price, so I just went ahead and paid it because I knew I wouldn't see this record in there anymore. If I didn't jump on it right then and then, someone else would. And when I came home, I looked up this album online, and the cheapest I saw it going for was $54. The most expensive I saw it going for was like $140. So my $40 per ticket price wasn't bad for this. Oops, wrong way. Wasn't bad for this. So, and I love the music on here. Kicks a lot of ass. It's a good record. and hope to find some more Opeth vinyl out there on the hunt. So Opeth Watershed, badass album. And then next up, Mr. Big, Lean Into It. This really takes me back to my 20s, early 20s. This came out in 90 or 91, I believe, 1991. And I saw Mr. Big open for Rush a couple of times, and then I saw him open for the Scorpions once. I always loved the band Mr. Big. Unfortunately, I only really followed their first album and this album. This is their second one. And kind of stopped listening to Mr. Big after that. The album after that really didn't do much for me. They did a cover of Cat Stevens' Wild World, which didn't really impress me much. But I remember they did have a song on there called Colorado Bulldog, which I really liked. They recently got back together last summer, and I saw them in Modesto, and they sound just as great as ever. They haven't lost a step. This is a great band, and some good songs on this album. The Electric Drill song, Alive and Kicking, Green Tinted 69, Lucky This Time, Voodoo Kiss. You know, they had a #1 single off this album called To Be With You, which was an acoustic ballad, a song I really got tired of hearing, but it was good to see Mr. Big have some success. Unfortunately, they were just known for the one song, and if you look at this band at a glance, you would think they were just a one-hit wonder, but really they had some great songs other than just the hit acoustic ballad. They're a good band to watch, and they're a fun band to watch live, so I'm really happy to have this album, because this was just one of my favorites when I was 20. So, Mr. Big. Alright, another one. This is from the band Fishbone, and it's just self-titled Fishbone. I guess there's no title to this. I don't come across too much Fishbone vinyl in the store I buy at. I like that picture. I remember my memories of Fishbone is I once saw them as they were the musical guests on Saturday Night Live, and back then I didn't know who they were. And so I see these guys, they're like a black punk rock band or a ska band or whatever, and they were just all over the place, jumping over, throwing fits. They looked like a bunch of crazy people. And I remember sitting there watching the television, looking at this band, thinking to myself, what the hell's up with these guys? But the music sounds cool, so, you know, I don't really own anything by them. I don't know too much about them, other than I remember the one time I saw them, I did like them, and I was always curious what, you know, a whole Fishbone album would sound like, and it's on Columbia. So now I'm gonna find out, and then hopefully I can find some more Fishbone out there. I was only able to find this one album, but it's in great shape. The vinyl looks in good shape, no scratches, pretty clean, and it has the original sticker on it still. So cool pickup, Fishbone. Another band I hear the name of, it down all over the place, but never bothered to pay attention. Now I'm listening. Okay, I know I'm late getting on board with this, but the band is Yeah Yeah Yeahs. 10-inch record for the song The Machine. Also on here is Graveyard and the Pin remix. I heard a lot about this band. I know a lot of friends that are big fans of this band, and I'm now finally getting on board. It's on colored vinyl. It's on pink vinyl. As you can see, yes, a real manly record, real macho. But and a cool label too. So cool. I thought it was a cool find, 10-inch record on pink, and it did come with a picture here. Let's see if I can get it out here. Yeah, it did come with this photo, and yeah. So cool packaging. I thought it was a cool find on 10-inch. It looked like to be something that was pretty rare, or just something that was cool to have. So I went ahead and forked over the money for it. Haven't listened to it yet, but this should be a fun listen. This looks like to be a fun record. All right, still on a high from my Marillion concert. Thought I'd give this one a try, because I'm not too familiar with this album by Marillion. Script for a Jester's Tear from Marillion, and it is a promotional copy. Stamps on the front. See, as you can see, it's a promotional copy. Wait for that to get into focus. So pretty cool find. This must be I don't know if this is their first record because they had a different drummer on this album, Mick Pointer. So Ian Mosley wasn't even in the band yet. So I found that interesting. And it is on the Capitol label. And the only song I'm familiar with on this album is Garden Party. The rest of the songs I don't think I've ever heard. So this should be a real interesting listen. And pretty interesting cover. There's the back. Still in the original. Still in the shrink here. Hopefully we'll see how long that holds together. But really put on such a great show last weekend. And saw this. Only for a couple bucks. I thought, shit, let's go ahead and go for it. I dig their songwriting. I dig their music and how they craft songs together. So real cool pickup. Another cool pickup. This was on the recommendation of a friend. I'm not much. I mean, I like Ozzy Osbourne as much as the next guy, but I don't really collect a lot of his albums. A few of his CDs. Never had this one. So it's Ozzy's The Ultimate Sin. Take this off. The Ultimate Sin, Ozzy Osbourne. And I've always, as weird as it looks, I like that album cover. That's a cool cover. Dig that album cover. And the only song I'm familiar with on here is Shot in the Dark, because it had the music video. This is back during the Headbangers Ball days of MTV, so I remember that video being showed a lot on MTV during that time. But a buddy of mine said this is actually a cool album, and I should actually pick it up. I have my friend Dave, who I've known since high school, and he kind of knows the brand of 80s metal I like, or 80s hard rock that I like. So he knows what I would dismiss and what I would enjoy. And he said, you know what, you would like this. I know you're not that big of an Ozzy fan, but you would dig this album. So if you ever see it, grab it. And I saw it in the store today, so I thought, what the hell. And it still has the original insert. There's lyrics in the back. And the label is a CBS Associated Records label. So, to add to the Ozzy collection, got a couple of his albums. I got the tribute album to Randy Rhoads, and now this one. So, growing on some Ozzy, really cool stuff. And the last one I want to show you guys is something I rebought. It's an upgrade to a copy I already have. And it's the Who's Quadrophenia. It has some of my favorite Who tracks like The Real Me, Love Reign Over Me, I Am One, 515, just a lot of my all-time Who classics, a lot of all-time Who classics and favorites of mine. Now the reason I upgraded is because mine did not have the book, and this one does. This one has the original book with it, with all the pictures that pretty much tell the story through the pictures of the album, because it's a concept album, so and these pictures kind of let you know what the story is all about. Here's my favorite picture. The guy passed out in bed. He's on a nightstand, a bag full of pills, and the wall of titties. Cool shot. And in the corner there, you can see his record player. So I dig that picture, and I can relate. So I'm real glad to have the book now to Quadrophenia. My copy just had the albums, which was fine with me because it's the music that matters, and not all the extra stuff. But it's cool to have the extra stuff, and it's on a different label than my copy was on. It's on this Track Records label, which is out of MCA Records. So really cool that it not only does it have the book, but it has a different label on it. So I got myself a better upgraded copy of Quadrophenia. I just got to give it that one courtesy listen and see if there's any scratches. If not, then I got to do some swapping. But real cool to have this copy because that book makes it a fun thing to watch while you're listening to the record. So very, very happy to have this. Let me see if I can find a picture of the motor scooter, because I always thought the motor scooter looked cool. Besides, yeah, there we go. besides the album cover. I always like the motor scooter here. Pretty badass. Alright, well that's going to do it for King. Not much albums bought this weekend, but it's the quality of the records, not the quantity, that counts. Anyway, that's going to do it for me, and I'll see everybody at the next video.